Welcome to Scarves and Spikes.
Hello to all the Atlanta United fans. My name is Jurgen Damm, and you are watching Scarves and Spike, an Atlanta United podcast.
What's going on, everybody? It is Scarves and Spikes here on a we haven't really gotten like the best name for it, but we'll call it an MLS Monday. But
MLS wrap-up.
MLS
review edition.
Yep. We just happen to be in the middle of not MLS. We're in the middle of Leagues Cup. So
yeah, the magic of Leagues Cup.
The magic of Leagues Cup. So
we're DC United. Sorry, we're DC. I have to mention that we're DC United. It's not able to play in their own stadium because their grounds crew can't get their acts together. So
that's one of the many ridiculous stories that have happened in the 3 days this tournament has been going on. So we will we're going to dive into everything, guys. We're going to talk about Atlanta United versus DC because that needs to be talked about. But this is kind of a thing that we're going to start doing through Leagues Cup, and then we're going to carry it over to I guess when MLS starts back up. So it'll be kind of like we'll talk about the previous game, but we're going to incorporate more of MLS as a whole, just to kind of keep you guys caught up, bring in some other guests. It gives us an opportunity to have other guests that we can't always have on the regular show on Wednesday. So lots of stuff going on, but
yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
It is going to be a ton of fun. Gotta say really quick, y'all, as usual, go check out the website, scarvesandspikes.com. Go pick you up some merch, get you a beer glass, get you a hat, get you a hoodie. I know that's kind of counterintuitive in July, but go get you a hoodie.
Almost August.
Yeah. So, and then go join the Patreon. We have we've had an influx of patrons over the past month or so, and we truly appreciate every one of y'all. But we're trying to give you guys some special content, some different content over there that you can't get otherwise. And you also get in the Discord, which is always a good time. So, that's all of it. Sydney, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, tough night on Friday. Was it Friday? It was Friday.
It was Friday. It's I know, right?
Ages ago, since Atlanta United played open their Leagues Cup foray in 2024 through a 3-3 draw in regulation. Just a weird match. Atlanta goes down 3-1 in the first half. Come back to level it through Saba and Rios' penalty. Rios' penalty, of course, coming after, unfortunately, Bartek Schliech missing his penalty, and then goes into a penalty shootout, and Atlanta, unfortunately, fall behind in part, not in the whole, in part behind Schliech and Lennon missing their pens. So probably too. I don't know if it's too much to ask for the team to win twice in penalties in one season. Their second ever victory in a penalty shootout in club history. So that's where we are right now. DC get the extra point, Atlanta with 1 point, and just to kind of catch you all up on what to expect. Wednesday, of course, DC plays Santos Laguna at Philadelphia at Subaru Park.
Yeah, not in DC.
That's crazy. And then Santos comes here on Sunday to wrap up the group. And right now, looking at the standings, of course, DC with 2 points, Atlanta with 1, and then Santos, of course, 0 points because they haven't played the tournament yet. So that's where we're saying right now. But it's a missed opportunity, Tyler, against DC. Rob Valentino said he was angry, and he had every right to be for the team falling behind as early as they did. It can't happen. It can't happen. And yeah, credit to the team for coming back, but still, you have to have your head screwed on your shoulders, and you have to come out to a better start. I don't think they did that at all. I'm sure they will agree, but this is too deep in the season against a team we played twice to be doing this.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, Rob came in to the press conference room after, and one of the things I really like about Rob is he'll lay it out there for you, and he'll essentially take what he probably just told the locker room and come in and tell the media.
Yeah,
and he
it's
was
that
good.
Midwestern in him, I guess, that
Yeah.
Chicago blue
I mean,
collar.
I think it's just like that down to earth mentality too. It's just like, you want a guy who's going to lay it out straight. You don't need somebody that's maybe dancing on eggshells and trying to sugarcoat too many things. We don't want to be mired in pessimism, right, and negativity, but you also can have too much optimism at times. And sometimes, being that little bit of a frustrated leader, angry guy in charge has to come out. And I think
Yeah,
we're right for that Friday because Atlanta beat themselves.
yeah,
Period.
exactly.
I mean, it was a really silly way to make your job getting out of this group harder, right? Like the way that Leagues Cup is laid out, you pretty much, if you win a game, there's a good chance you're making it out of the group. It's that easy. And Atlanta did everything except for, start the game well.
Yeah.
Credit to DC. And we talked to a few people. Rob said it in the press conference, but I asked Daniel Rios about it afterwards. I think Dax McCarty mentioned it a little bit down in the mix zone, but DC came out in a little bit of a different formation that Atlanta wasn't expecting. The difference being is Atlanta actually did a pretty good job reacting to it and fixing it. And it was such a surprise. Rob said that this was the only time in all of their film review that they've actually seen DC play this way. And the one time that they did play this way was in a friendly. So it was unexpected. And then they get knocked in the mouth from a silly mistake, from Josh Cohen. It happens, but it was costly. Puts you down immediately, right?
Yeah.
And then you have another one with Brooks Lennon with that errant kind of header back pass thing. So those right there, those are the two moments that you kind of shot yourself in the foot. And I know a lot of the topic has been Bartosz Slish and the penalties, but you've got to give this man I don't want to say a pass. I mean, he took the penalties and he missed it. But it's soccer. It's penalties, right? You never know what's going to happen. Dax McCarty called it a crapshoot, which is exactly what penalties are.
Yeah.
But that man was beside himself how upset he was. And
Yeah.
it was sad to see, because he feels the weight. He feels it. But I've seen some people say some comments, and at the end of the day, you have to remember this guy's a human being, and he feels like he let his team down, and it sucks. But he's got a team that's behind him. Dax McCarty said, they went in and they got behind him, they lifted him up, and they said, "Look, we're going to go win against Santos Laguna. This is going to be a thing in the past, and you don't have anything else to worry about, man." Like they got behind him, helped him, but I think the biggest thing is, again, he's a human being, and he feels really bad. I mean, he was crying, and his first words out of his mouth were, and just quoting,
yeah,
"I fucked up." That's
yeah,
what he said. So feel bad for him, but Slish has been a massive net positive for this team since he's got here. So he'll move past it and he'll be okay.
yeah. And I will say this too, and we mentioned it on Spaces Friday night after the match. Credit to him for coming. He didn't have to go through the mixed zone. It just kind of to pull back the curtain for you folks watching and listening, watching. After every Lady United home match, normally it's open locker room after Rob's press conference. This time it's different because it's a different competition, not sanctioned by MLS specifically, but it's a different competition where players, some of you are familiar with the mix, players just come through and say, "Hey, some of the talks, some of them don't want to, which is understandable. I didn't expect Bartek to be the one who spoke. We were asked to ask just 2 questions. I'm sure out of respect to him and everything that happened, but I do give credit to Bartek for coming out and meeting the media after something like that happened. He had every right not to, every right to just blow the media off and just go to his car and just drive off. So again, Tyler, you said it, behind the player is a person, and we don't know. It's easy to just be upset at a player for screwing it up, but it's a person. At the end of the day, it's a person, and who are we to criticize if we aren't in that person's shoes? Like, far be it from me to say I can step on the field and I can easily score that. I think I saw somebody say that. Like, I can't remember. It was something along the lines of, or 4th grader could score. I don't know. I could be making that up, but no. I mean, come on. Another thing I saw on Twitter with Rios coming off of the cramp, someone said he's soft. I mean, like, have you had a cramp before? Like, these are professional athletes. Like, it doesn't. We just look at things and say, "Hey, they're supposed to suck it up," and it's hard. It's hard. It's hard for you and me to do it. It's hard for people watching to do it. It's hard for professional athletes to do it. Making the amount of money they are, having the weight of the fan base on their shoulders, and all of that stuff. So let's relax. Let's calm down. Let's stop putting these players on blast, whenever they make a mistake. And yeah, just remember, these are human beings. These are flesh and blood. They have feelings. I'm getting kind of philosophical, but it's true though. It's true though.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right.
Calm down.
The thing is,
let me say this though. I'll say this though. It's okay to criticize the state of the team. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but just be careful how you go about it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And the thing is, like, look, we do a podcast. We cover the team, as journalists, as podcasters, whatever you want to call us. We're there, right? We talk to the players, we talk to the coaches, we talk to everybody. And it's not that I'm not going to sit here and try to tell somebody how to be a fan, right? I mean, if y'all watched our show last week, the interview that I did with Rob, he talked about, we want the fans, whether it's good or bad. Like, we hear the positive and we hear the negative, and he even said, like, fans have a right to do that. He was like, maybe not like the super negative, that, because that's hard. But that's going to come, right? That's just part of it. But relaying to everybody, and I want to get to Giuseppe's comment in a minute too, because that's really cool. But relaying to, I think, the fan base, just how distraught Bartek was. You just kind of, I think it's important to know that, like, he feels responsible. And I've said it on this show multiple times. I've said it on Spaces multiple times. There is nobody in that locker room, I feel, that takes a loss harder than Bartek Slish. He, like, when Atlanta loses, he is upset.
Yeah.
And then for this to happen to him the way that it did, it's almost like one of those, it's like a Shakespearean tragedy, man. Like, it could not have been written in such a worse way for Bartek Slish's character in that night. It was just frustrating. And he felt every bit of it. He came out after, had his hat pulled down. He just did, he felt bad.
You could see it in his face.
100%.
His face.
When he first started talking, you could tell, you could not just tell, you could see, he was clenching his teeth. He was trying not to, he was fighting back, a lot of emotion. So I will say, I would take a player like that in Atlanta as a fan that gives a crap that much over one who just says, it's not a big deal. Like, I hate it for him emotionally, because you don't want him to be on that side of the emotion, right? But it shows that he cares. And I mean, Justin had a good comment. If you want Slish to feel like he has a home here, then you got to support him when he's down. He seems to truly care, and he does. He absolutely does.
Absolutely. Um, you hope that he can bounce back from it, and credit to the team for coming around him and you know making him feel better, for lack of a better term, because less mature player, I think, would be affected deeply by that. I feel like, and I sort of feel like Bartek is one of those players that look themselves in the mirror and say, "Hey, I screwed up." Like he said himself in the press conference, "I screwed up," and he knows that he did. Move on, turn the page, and move on. Real quick, I know you mentioned some of the comments here on YouTube, X, wherever people are watching right now. We'll get to Giuseppe. Giuseppe saying he was at the NYCFC match last week, came back for the Columbus Crew. I'm hoping the team can rebuild properly. He was visiting his girlfriend here in Atlanta. So, yes, right now the team are going through hard times, but hopefully, yes, they do come back and turn things around. I want to get to as well Ben's
And
comment.
welcome to the fandom.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Exactly. I wanted to get to as well, just to kind of take a wider lens view. Ben saying on YouTube, talk about Sleesh having to take penalties, Cohen, and then Lenna's terrible defending. Like I said, we can. It's okay to criticize the performance. I mean, we'd be foolish not to say that, early on, Josh Cohen had a shocking performance. I mean, he'll admit it himself. Lennon, I think, was one of his worst matches in a Lennon United kit. I'm sure he'll agree as well. How do you respond? How do you come back from that? How do you turn the page? Like Dak said, that was Friday night. You have Santos Laguna coming in on Sunday. Essentially, you must win. If you want to get through to the next round, you have to win that match. Put up or shut up, right? You can say all you want to the media, all you want to yourself. You got to put up and shut up. Put up or shut up. Can they do it? Can they bounce back? Can they beat a Santos Laguna team that Dak said, it's a typical Mexican team? And, there's a word that we're kind of both thinking, I'm sure, Tyler, how they tend to manage time at the end of matches. Dak said you could kind of see a little smirk on his face when he said it. So he was there. The word
a little bit
that we know he was thinking. He didn't say it, but we all know he was thinking. But yeah,
I mean, shenanigans.
Yeah, starts with an S. It starts with an S.
Shenanigans.
Yeah. No, but Santos are going to do that, and we'll talk about Santos Laguna on Friday or later in the week. But they're going to do that. How can Atlanta United manage that? How can Atlanta United defend against that? It's what Liga MX teams do. If you do it well, we see it in Champions Cup / Champions League. Just their ability to do that, and it irritates players, it irritates fans, but they're so effective at it. So again, not to dwell too much on Friday or Sunday's match because we'll get to that another show, but just wanted to kind of revisit Dax's comment about it, kind of a moment of levity, just a little bit of moment of levity after Sunday's match.
Yeah, and I see like Ben is commenting a little bit about Lennon and Cohen. Everything I said about Slish, it applies to everybody on the team, right? Like, and I'm not picking on Ben. I'm not saying he said anything negative, but like, guys, like, I guess I have to preface everything by saying, like, I'm not saying don't criticize the team, don't criticize players. You can criticize players, criticize the team. Just remember to be, constructive, not hateful. I think that's where I'm like, there's been some hateful comments, not anybody here, not anybody that I'm seeing in the comments. I've just seen it over the past couple of days. The hateful stuff is uncalled for. I mean, I'll be the first one to say Brooks Lennon had a really bad game, right? Josh Cohen had a really bad game. Josh Cohen kept the team alive in penalties after having a really bad game. And then Brooks Lennon put, DC right back into it in penalties. So it was just one of those, again, like Shakespearean tragedies where it was like, everything related to Brooks Lennon, Josh Cohen, and Bartosz Slish that night did not meld well at all. And sometimes you just have to freaking laugh at it, man, because Brooks Lennon has been, like Ben said in the comments, he's been very consistent. You know what you're getting out of Brooks. I would like to see more out of Brooks Lennon on both sides of the ball. I'd like to see him be less predictable. And then kind of like what you were saying a minute ago, Sydney, like Josh Cohen's got to come out if he plays Sunday, and I expect he will. He needs to have just a standout game.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
A standout game.
Exactly.
And then Slish, the thing is, like, he played a great game. Just take away the 2 penalties. He was great.
Right.
And he just needs to go back out there and have that kind of game again. And maybe not take any penalties. Like, give yourself a break from the penalties for a little bit, So, and you got to give, again, Shakespearean freaking tragedy here. Brooks Lennon had a phenomenal assist to Daniel Rios, right? Like, he had opportunities and made things happen, but then you're always going to go back and look at the really bad mistake that led to a goal, right?
Yeah.
It was just a very, very roller coaster emotion night on Friday for Atlanta and Atlanta fans.
Yeah. Again, hopefully they can turn the page. And beat Santos Laguna on Sunday. So that was Friday. Do we want to get into the rest of the tournament? I mean, it's just starting out essentially, but
yeah, we have a few. So you're basically 3 days in, right?
Yeah.
All the teams haven't even played yet, but you've had a handful, right? So, kind of what we were thinking. We'll go through the games. We'll basically hitting on the highlights, the lowlights. Me and Sydney will, and as we do this, whether it's Tommy, Henry, whoever else is joining us on here, we'll kind of give you our, big winner, big loser type deal.
Yeah.
So, Sydney, take it away. What you got?
So, we're only a few days in, as you mentioned. Still a lot of Leagues Cup to go as far as the group stage is concerned. But I was focusing on one big winner from these first few days of Leagues Cup, but I want to focus on several. The first one is the San Jose Earthquakes. San Jose have been in just dreadful form all season long. Like, they're just a bad team. They're a really bad team. Not going to make the playoffs. So this is like their only chance to actually do things. They take out Chivas, not at PayPal Park in San Jose, but at Levi Stadium. I believe it was the largest crowd, Tyler, for a Leagues Cup match since the new tournament took place last year. So they're at Levi Stadium, essentially a Chivas home match. And,
pretty much.
It's going to draw a lot of people. And San Jose surprisingly beats Chivas in penalties. They beat Chivas in penalties. So goals scored. I'm trying to find out who scored the goals. I don't have it in front of me, but
Ebobisi scored the first one. I'll actually watch that game.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised at how San Jose played.
Yeah. So sight unseen, I didn't watch the match, but this is one of the scorelines that jumped out at me. Like, Chivas, I just pulled up the stats. Chivas outshot San Jose 22-7 in the 90 minutes. 6 shots on goal to San Jose's 2. If you were to put a blindfold on, or if you were to take a look at this, I'll say this too: XG Chivas 2.2, San Jose 0.9. If you're looking at this at the stats only to say, okay, who won this match? You'll probably say Chivas dominated. Chivas won it running away. But no, they didn't. And again, San Jose, coming away with a draw and winning in penalties, that's a huge, huge result for them. Credit to Danielle, the keeper, 5 saves on the night, despite giving up the 1 goal. So, again, just a tremendous result for them. Let's see what they do next. I don't think you're going to win, obviously. They'll definitely win. But they take on LA Galaxy, and there's just a bad group for them. On Wednesday night, they take out Wednesday night the LA Galaxy. and I don't expect them to win that match either. But hey, they beat Chivas, so you never know. So that's one of my winners. They're one of my winners. Austin FC down to 10 men, coming back to beat Pumas 3-2 in regulation. Just another team that struggled this season to some extent, but getting the win against Pumas, the Gameki's opponent, and credit to them for winning that match despite being up to 10 men. So that is another one of my winners. LAFC all over Tijuana, over Charlotte 3-0. My loser, though, of the tournament so far among MLS teams is CF Montreal, just getting shelled 4-1 against Orlando City.
But guess who scored against Orlando?
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, it wasn't the best Father's Day for CF Montreal that night, but yeah, Joseph Martinez did score against them. Orlando, 24 shots to Montreal's 10 shots on target, 5 for Montreal. XG was 4.4 to 1.4. So to Orlando's credit, they kind of performed at their XG, also to Montreal. But yeah, Orlando has to be feeling or riding tall heading into their next group stage match against San Luis on August 4th, Sunday. So they'll be looking to punch their ticket essentially into the knockout stage if they haven't already. So yeah, those are my winners, Tyler, for the first few days of Leagues Cup. What do you got?
So I kind of wanted to hit back on the San Jose game and that West. It's the West 2. I wish they would come up with some better names for these groups, but West 2, San Jose, Chivas, and LA Galaxy.
Sheesh.
San Jose doing what they did that night threw this entire group into shambles because it was supposed to be running away with it. LA Galaxy and Chivas, easy.
100%.
San Jose came out. Now, I know I said like I had fun watching the game, and I did. Yeah. San Jose played some ugly soccer, and they took Chivas by surprise in the first couple of minutes. And because I mean they're essentially just playing long balls over the top, but hey, you got to give them credit. They had a game plan. Chivas was pressing high. They were pushing hard like they do, right? And San Jose caught them sleeping like early. Yeah. And to be fair, to their credit, their center backs, their right back, midfield, they were putting in some dimes over the top to Ebobisse to be able to get on. And you know, they played the game. They played the game they needed. They got a lot of help from their keeper, but you know, they take it to penalties, right? And then they come out with the 2 points. So now it gets interesting because in theory, LA Galaxy and Chivas should walk away with this.
Right. And they still might.
And they probably will.
Yeah.
But it gets very interesting, right? Because it's not this should have been right now Chivas sitting with a full 3 points and San Jose sitting with nothing. It's not that way anymore. So I'm very curious to kind of see how this one goes.
I am interested real quick. I'm interested to see how that Chivas LA match turns out because those two sides still have to play each other in this group. So that'll be that feels like it could be. I mean, they're on the same side of the bracket. That could be a knockout stage match, really. So these two teams could meet on the knockout stage, So we may not have seen the last of Chivas LA Galaxy. That match takes place in a couple of days. So
I mean, you know, I went through. There was a few for my kind of big winner of the first 3 days. Miami did what they should have done, which is beat Puebla, right?
Yeah.
They won 2-0. I got to give credit because both of their goals were good goals. Their second goal was it involved our old friend Julian Gressel, played it to Jordi Alba, and then gives it to Teeth himself, Luis Suarez, who puts it in the back of the net easily. I just thought it was a game that they should have won, right? We always talk about winning the games you should win, winning the games that are in front of you. And there are a handful of Liga MX teams that you, as a soccer fan, should know are going to give a hard time to whoever they play against. Puebla is not one of them. And that's no disrespect to Puebla. And I'm not trying to knock on Puebla, but that is not a team that you're just like, well, we're going to equate them with like Club America. Right.
Yeah.
So they did what they had to do. Miami did. Good for them. But I guess the big winner for me, only because it was such a good game too, even though it was low scoring, was Atlas over Houston. Loved watching them play, and it was a very back and forth like affair. It wasn't necessarily that one team dominated the other. It was an enjoyable game from a neutral perspective.
Yeah.
But in reality, Atlas should have won that game, and they did, albeit very, very close. It was 1-0. So I kind of said that as my big winner, mainly because I enjoyed the game, just like I enjoyed the San Jose Chivas game. Like, I'm glad I got to watch those two. Big loser, going with the same kind of mindset. Big loser for me was the fans. If you at all tuned into the NYCFC Querétaro game,
yeah,
I am so sorry if you sat through that smorgasbord of despair like I did. up in Yankee Stadium. It was, first of all, like, don't even get me started on Yankee Stadium, but hey, I know it, like, we're in it. That's what they do. That's where they're playing. I'm not gonna make too much fun of it, but it just exacerbated a really bad soccer game. It was just ugly, and it was fragmented. It was broken. I put on our Discord. I said, this is basically like as much fun as watching farm equipment rust. It's so bad. So my loser in that is the fans. Now, NYCFC went on to win that in penalties.
Yeah.
But it was an ugly, ugly soccer game. Dude, it was like and again, this is why you got to join the Patreon. Go to the Discord. I was losing my mind watching.
I'd say real quick, missing the penalty that won for Querétaro was Ronaldo Cisneros.
Our old friend. Yep, that was the freaking cherry on top.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's going to come on and score a hat trick, or nothing is going to happen, and then he goes and misses the penalty.
Right.
Just a bad soccer game. Like, as a fan of soccer, this was a war crime. It was so bad, man.
That actually reminds
ugly.
me, real quick, that actually reminds me, Philadelphia beating Charlotte FC 1-0 at Subaru Park with Dean Smith, Charlotte FC's head coach, had some pretty unkind things to say about it. I don't have it in front of me, but he said it was one of the worst matches he's ever been a part of. It was pretty funny with his comments after the match. But let me pull them up. I'm actually pulling them up right now. But while I do that, I got to throw in another loser real quick. Is Juan Carlos Osorio, head coach of Tijuana.
Oh, yeah.
An opponent. And I have fans in my mentions saying, oh, it was justified. No, it wasn't justified. Like, it's never justified, guys.
Yeah, don't
violence against the official is never justified.
No, and here's the thing: like, you're a grown man, right? You go and you're yelling and screaming at the fourth official, this young lady on the sideline, right? She's doing her job. To be fair, I didn't watch the game, and I don't entirely know what the frustration was about. But of course, we're all going to see the clip, and everybody's going to react to it, right? The optics suck, but period. Like, you don't need to go act like that towards anybody. But then he's yelling and screaming. So then the AR comes over and is like, hey, chill out. And he goes and gets in his face, headbutts him, forehead to forehead.
Yeah.
Kind of pushes him away with his forehead, as opposed to like a full on, like, Zinedine Zidane headbutt, but pushes him away with his head and then refused to leave the field for like a while.
He got sacked. He got sacked as Mexico's manager for assaulting a journalist too.
Yeah, like, what are you doing, dude?
He has a track record with this kind of stuff. He has a track record with this kind of stuff. So, like,
bad.
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Miguel Herrera. I'm sorry, but no, Juan Carlos Osorio still.
That's right.
Wrong. So I did have Dean Smith.
15 seconds. That's okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Juan Carlos, if you're watching. But yeah, back to Dean Smith. His comments about Charlotte FC's loss to Philadelphia. Called it probably possibly the worst game he's ever seen since coming over to the USA. A litany of errors for both teams. Here's the quote that got me. I think I've played on better car parks than that. So they're kind of the UK, what they call parking garages. So it's essentially saying, you know what, this just sucked as a match. I don't have the stats in front of me, but Dean Smith not very happy with his team's performance against the Philadelphia Union on Saturday night. The stats were pretty. Charlotte did not have a shot on goal. Philly had 4. XG was 0.9 to 0.7. So both teams were below a goal in XG. So not pretty for Charlotte FC.
No, and a big win though for Philly, because we know how much of a weird 180 they've done. Like, they're not doing well in MLS play, but hey, Leagues Cup is an opportunity, right? And they took advantage of it. They kept Charlotte, who's been pretty good, and they kept them pretty much locked down the entire night. Whether you want to call it being on a car park or not. So, really quick, just kind of going around, I'll recap it all. New York City over Querétaro in penalties in the ugliest game of all time. Orlando absolutely mollywopped Montreal, so they're at the top of their group. Miami beat Puebla, so they're at the top of their group. We just talked about Philly, Charlotte. Philly's at the top of their group, but they're also in a group with our old friend Yorgos Yakimakis with Cruz Azul.
Cruz Azul, yeah.
So that'll be coming up soon. New England squeaked out Mazatlan. Got the win though, so they're at the top of the group.
Okay, I see New England.
Toronto and Red Bulls in a game that I really have not looked at much at all, but Toronto won in penalties.
Yeah, that surprised me. Toronto winning that match. I did not pick them to win that group at all.
Yeah, and then now they're both in a group with Pachuca, who is just waiting there like a variety of memes, but especially the one with dude waiting right outside the door, just waiting to bust in. Like, Pachuca, I just feel like is going to be at the top of that group by the time it's all said.
I agree.
So, and then our group, East 7, obviously we know the result. We've talked about it enough. DC won in penalties. Austin, you talked about it, squeaked out the win against Pumas, which is a big time one.
10-man Austin, yeah.
Yeah. San Jose over Chivas. We've talked about that one plenty in penalties. St. Louis over Dallas.
Yeah.
It was a kind of a back and forth game, but St. Louis squeaked out the actual win, and they also have Juarez in their group. So that one could be an interesting group to keep an eye on.
That could be a sneaky group. Like, I could see either one of those 3 teams
100%
making it through, to be honest. So
100%. So that one's worth keeping an eye on. Then West 4 SKC knocking out Chicago. So SKC is at the top of their group. It was a good game, but nothing phenomenal about it. Portland over Club Leon. That was another one that was very close, and it should have went to penalties. But Portland squeaked out the game winner. I want to say it was in the 90th minute, if I recall correctly. So, and that's another one where you kind of expected Leon to maybe be the favorite in that group, and now they're sitting at the bottom, also in the group with Colorado. So
yet to play Colorado, yet to play, by the way.
Yeah. So next group, Seattle with their win over Minnesota, but they're in a group with Necaxa. So Seattle sitting at the top, 3 points. You mentioned it. LAFC whooped up on Tijuana.
Yeah.
So they're at the top, but they're in that group with Vancouver, who was like my dark horse, weird kind of team that I felt like was going to do something in the tournament.
I don't know. I think Cholos get through with LAFC. LAFC obviously sitting pretty, but I think LAFC and Cholos make it out.
Yeah, we'll see. I have hope. I don't know why. It's not like I care about Vancouver, but I just feel like they're going to do something.
Yeah.
And then last group, Atlas beating Houston, like I said before. But they're in a group with Salt Lake. So that one could be another very interesting group.
Yeah.
I don't think Houston makes it out of that group personally.
Me neither. Yeah, I think RSL Atlas for sure. I mean, you have Diego Luna. Unfortunately, you don't have. I don't think you have Aranga. I don't know if he's back yet.
I think he'll be back in the second game, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, so he will be out for the first game. So his suspension is for the next 2 regular season game. But yeah, he is out against Atlas. So that's a big blow for RSL as we look to make headway in the group. Have yet to play, but we'll see what happens.
Cool. So there's your Leagues Cup update, guys.
Yeah.
Like we said, we'll be doing this throughout Leagues Cup. We, every 3 or 4 days is a break in the action, which is when we're going to try to do these. But at the end of Leagues Cup, we're going to be trying to do these every Monday as just an MLS kind of wrap up. But we're still going to be talking Atlanta United, but we're going to kind of include MLS in there as well, just to kind of get some other guests, like we said, other podcasters on the show, in addition to our regular Wednesday show. So it's been fun.
Yeah, and then just to look ahead to, I guess, match day 2, as it were. So we have a Liga MX versus Liga MX matchup. Tigres against Puebla, Wednesday night. San Jose, LA.
And Juanjo Parada, we'll see, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Cali Classico, San Jose, LA Galaxy, Wednesday night. LAFC Vancouver, that is on Tuesday night. Monterrey, their first match, they take on Austin Tuesday night. Minnesota Necaxa, Tuesday night. San Luis, Montreal, Tuesday night. Pachuca and Red Bulls as well. Charlotte, Cruz Azul, that's on Wednesday. Against Santos Laguna, as we know, against DC United. Santos yet to play this tournament. Right now, Dallas, Juarez, Wednesday. Nashville yet to play their first match against Mazatlan. And looking ahead to the rest of, I was going to say rest of, match day 2, as it were. These matches are Thursday. Cincy yet to play. They take out Querétaro, RSL, Atlas. These matches are on Thursday. Toluca, Chicago, Portland, Colorado, Tigres, Miami. That's on Thursday. So, yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Those are kind of like match day 3, as it were. So, yeah. We'll talk about those later on in the week, probably. But it's kind of wrap up the Fleece Cup right now.
It's been good.
So, we kind of talked about surprises. I was going to say any surprises, but we kind of already talked about that. So,
to me, that San Jose one was the big one for me.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That was a lot of fun. And kudos to the crowd, right? Like you said, you mentioned the attendance was phenomenal. Mostly thanks to the Chivas fans, but whatever. But it's fun to see. And I'll say this, obviously everybody has their opinions about Leagues Cup, which is totally fine. Y'all know how I feel about the Open Cup and how I feel that every team should be playing in it, period. It's here, right? It's a chance for you to see other teams. It's a chance for you to see other players or former Atlanta players that have gone back to Mexico or whatever. Just enjoy it. I mean, if you're a sicko like me, just enjoy the soccer. Like, it's another reason to watch freaking soccer games. Hopefully MLS and US Soccer and the Open Cup and Leagues Cup can all figure out a way to get along and everybody can be a part of it together. But as of right now, this is where we're at. So, enjoy it while it's here. Just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And watch us. Because if you don't watch the games, we'll at least keep you caught up.
Exactly. You got any final thoughts? I mean, I feel like that's it, right? We talked about Atlanta United, DC United. We talked about Leagues Cup at this moment. We got to give a shout out to the U.S. women beating Germany on Sunday 4-1. 3 goals in the first half. Sophia Smith with a brace, including a really weird goal for her brace to make it 3-1. So U.S. women sitting pretty, sitting in a good position right now. U23's Olympic team, they take on, they are second in their group. They're on 3 points. They take on Guinea on Tuesday. So you have to fancy their chances to win that one. They ripped New Zealand the second group stage match 4-1, but that's at 1 p.m. on Tuesday. So again, you have to fancy their chances to win that one and get themselves into the knockout stages. So good for them. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, and Omar said in the chat the U.S. women's basketball team beat Japan today. I think it was 102 to 70 something. I think it was a significant margin. And so yeah, look, they're on the verge of making history as well. I think it was like this, if they were to win gold, this will be like the longest consecutive gold winning streak or something in like history. So yeah, shout out to the women's basketball team. They've been killing it. So, but lots of soccer. We will be back Wednesday. I will actually be at the Chelsea Club America match, scouting out the potential opposition if Atlanta were to make it that far in the freaking tournament.
Right.
But no, it's soccer at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So I'll be there covering it. Sydney, you and Tommy will definitely be here. And I'm going to try to get on as well. Yeah. May have y'all a cool guest on the way. We're just trying to figure that out as well. But y'all are going to see a lot of us over the next couple of weeks. So
get ready. Get ready. I think that's it.
That's it. Go to scarvesandspikes.com. Atlanta traded for an international slot today, so you can speculate as to what that's for. But definitely keep an eye on the website over the next couple of days because I can only imagine, we're in the throes of the secondary transfer window, so maybe some things are coming.
Yeah, maybe.
Perhaps.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you watching, hanging out with us. We'll see you next time.
See y'all on Wednesday.
Nice and short.
Yeah. Very concise. Got everybody up to date. If you haven't watched Leagues Cup, now you know where you're at.
Exactly. Patreon.com/scarvesandspikes, by the way.
Yeah.
Quick reminder there.
Get in the Discord. We have fun.
Yes, we do.
And you can rib Tommy for posting random WWE things and forgetting which Discord he was in.
We forgive him.
We do.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Peace, y'all.